Hi guys, Harry here, and with the 60th anniversary specials 11 months away, we thought we weren't going to be getting any Doctor Who content. However, Russell T Davies couldn't let us go at Christmas without having some Doctor Who content. So the trailer for the 60th anniversary specials got released on Christmas Day, and I think that is amazing. The trailer looks amazing, and it's just insane. Also, I do want to say I hope you all had a good Christmas. If you don't celebrate Christmas, I hope you all had a good weekend. And, I mean, this trailer is just amazing to have dropped on Christmas. But before we get into the video, don't forget to subscribe. Also, leave a like and comment down below. And let's get into the video.
Sometimes I think there's something missing. Like I had something lovely. And it's gone.
So the trailer starts with a shot of London, and we see the Shard on the right hand side, and we last saw the Shard in Doctor Who in the Bowels of St. John back in Series 7. Of course, that was the year of the 50th anniversary, so there's just some cool parallels between, well, seeing the Shard last seen in the Bowels of St. John, that was in the year of the 50th anniversary, and we see the Shard again in the time of the 60th anniversary. So we're going back to London, which is where kind of, well, the 10th Doctor's era, where all his companions came from. They all were, like, based in London. Their families were in London. And it's a bit weird because most of the filming is taking place in Bristol, and they kind of using that as a stand-in for London instead of actually filming in London. But of course, a lot of filming has taken place in Bristol, and there's been filming in Cardiff as well. It's just kind of using Bristol as a stand-in for London rather than, you know, it being too busy in London to film, well, a whole chunk of the 60th anniversary. We see a shot of the TARDIS landing in the same place as the last trailer we saw about the 60th anniversary, and then we get a shot of Yasmin Finney as Rose. It is probably basically everything but confirmed she is playing Donna's daughter in this trailer. So, good thing I didn't say anything that said that she wasn't Donna's daughter. Anyway, moving past that, she is holding a parcel with fragile tape all around it. Looks like she's moving. However, I do want to say it does look like the parcel in the Sarah Jane adventures that Sarah Jane received in the episode The Wedding of Sarah Jane Smith Part 1. And the parcel contained a transvite belong. Hope I pronounced that right. So that was this alien that was just a bit mischief making that Sarah Jane needed to give to Mr. Smith to transport it back to back to its home planet. So I just think that's a cool little reference, just a cool little similarity there. And speaking of Rose, we see her in this kind of park area approaching a crashed spaceship, which is probably Beep the Meep spaceship. He's crashed in this park, and Rose is the only one approaching this spaceship, while these onlookers just stare at the spaceship with only Rose approaching it. And then we get a shot of the 14th Doctor in action, running through a hole in the wall. And this hole in the wall is shaped a bit like a Christmas tree, and I don't know whether I'm just, because it's the festive period, whether I'm just looking too much into it, whether it actually doesn't look like a Christmas tree. But to me, it looks like a Christmas tree, which in the Christmas invasion, a Christmas tree created a Christmas tree-sized hole in Rose Tyler's house when it went to attack them and the Doctor, and him running through this, hole in the wall that looks kind of a bit like a Christmas tree size. I just think that could be a reference to the Christmas invasion. Of course, the 10th Doctor's first story, and this will be the 14th Doctor's first story. And then, probably the biggest thing in this trailer, we see a hug between the 14th Doctor and Donna. It, of course, was revealed that Donna was going to play a big role in the 60th anniversary specials, but this is probably the biggest confirmation that we have for a long while that Donna's memories have been recovered in some way, as this hug is probably just after Donna's memories have recovered. She knows who the Doctor is, and she hasn't, well, died. Her mind hasn't burned away. However, speaking of Donna's memories, Donna talks to her mum Sylvia that she thinks something is missing, and of course, this is her time with the 10th Doctor. That is what is missing from her life. So how are we getting a hug between the 14th Doctor and Donna? Probably after her memories have been recovered. But she is saying, and it is hammered home to us, that she can't remember the Doctor, and if she does, she will die. But let's move in to the next part of the trailer.
I don't know who I am anymore. The show is just beginning. Worldwide premiere.
So we see another aerial shot of a street, and I think there's a mini turning into the main street we see from this aerial shot, and then a much smaller car following it. So this is probably the leaked footage we saw of the Doctor helping Beep the Meep and the whole Temple Noble family, helping Beep the Meep after they saw that the Wrath Warriors were trying to obviously kill Beep the Meep, and this is them escaping in maybe the Mini, or maybe the small car following it, and like the Doctor is driving the Mini to get them through all this chaos that has been happening around. From Neil Patrick Harris's character, as we see it in the next shot, waving at the 14th Doctor. Of course, we saw this in the last trailer, and I know we saw what I'm just going to talk about now in the last trailer, but there is an eye directly behind Neil Patrick Harris's character, and maybe this is like subliminal messaging that Neil Patrick Harris is keeping an eye on the 14th Doctor and is tracking every movement of the 14th Doctor, all his movements. And then we see this big shot of a spaceship, and I thought this could be many things. It could have been the Wrath Warrior spaceship. It could be a spaceship for Neil Patrick Harris's character in some way. But I think because we're having Beep the Meep, there is a high likelihood that it is Beep the Meep, his new spaceship being rebuilt, as there are officers here and they look to be unit ones as they have the unit crest on their back, and maybe they're brainwashed by Beep into rebuilding his spaceship, like in the 1980 comic Doctor Who and the Star Beast, where Beep the Meep brainwashed the people of where he landed into rebuilding his spaceship. But more on that later. And we also get a shot of Neil Patrick Harris announcing the worldwide premiere of a show, and behind Neil Patrick Harris there looks to be apparatus of a puppet show. So I don't know, maybe this is something happening, maybe some puppet of the 10th Doctor and Donna controlling them in some way, as of course we've seen puppets being controlled back in the Shakespeare Code, where the witches stabbed a pin in the Doctor and it stopped one of his hearts. So maybe this is a similar thing in this trailer. But let's move in to the next part of the trailer.
Who are they?
Monsters. I don't believe in destiny, but if destiny exists, then it is heading for Donna Noble. On the fire! If she ever remembers me, she will die.
Skinny man! He's not there. You can't see him.
And in the next shot of the trailer, we see unit officers by a car that suddenly explodes, probably courtesy of the Wrath Warriors, which we see next, which seems to have crash landed in a backyard where a child discovers them. And then we see Rose seeming to hide Beep the Meep from the Wrath Warriors, as Beep seems to be convincing Rose that these Wrath Warriors are monsters, instead of it actually being Beep the Meep who is the monster. And I just think, Beep the Meep looks so cute in this trailer, and the Wrath Warriors look amazing as well. I do have a video that that I will link up in the cards above that goes over everything about Beep the Meep, of course his backstory, how he has appeared in Doctor Who before, and basically what his whole thing is. But I will just go over it quickly here. So they are probably adapting the 1980 comic Doctor Who and the Star Beast, where Beep crash lands on Earth, but he is found by Sharon Davis and Fudge Higgins, who assume that the cute creature, who, of course he's very cute in this trailer, is harmless, and they take him back to Fudge's home. However, Beep uses his ship's black orb to take control of the people of Black Castle to repair his ship, which is why I said in the last part of the trailer the unit officers could be rebuilding a ship for Beep. However, in the 60th anniversary story about Beep the Meep, I think Sharon and Fudge will be replaced by Rose, and she'll be the one trying to help Beep the Meep escape from the Wrath Warriors. And then we get a speech from the Doctor about Destiny heading for Donna Noble. And of course, this is referencing back in 2008, where Donna was, of course, the 10th Doctor's companion, and she was she was said by Rose and the Doctor that she was the most important person in all of creation, or she was the most important person in the whole wide universe. Of course, that was said by Rose in Turn Left and the 10th Doctor in Journey's End. And she was kind of fated, and she did become the Dr. Donna, and that was kind of the story arc that was in Series 4 that was started at the planet of the Ood, and then came to a head in Journey's End when she did become the Dr. Donna. And the Dr. Donna was the reason her mind was wiped. And a bit more on fate and destiny for Donna. All the timelines seem to converge on Donna. They all seem to come into her, and this was explained, I think, by the Doctor and Rose again, how Donna was the most important person in all of creation, or the whole wide universe, because all the timelines seem to converge on her, to her becoming the Dr. Donna. And then we see this shadowy figure enter Mr. Emporium, which is probably Neil Patrick Harris's character's shop, and he is probably playing the Celestial Toymaker. So, good thing I didn't say anything that said he wasn't the Celestial Toymaker. Anyway, moving past that, and then we see a unit superior telling his troops to open fire, probably on the Wrath Warriors, as we see them fighting a lot throughout this trailer, and it would just make sense for them to be fighting the Wrath Warriors, as they think Beep is the victim, whereas actually the Wrath Warriors are just doing their job to imprison Beep, as he has committed many war crimes. We then hear the 14th Doctor talk about Donna again, and this time he is saying if Donna ever remembers him, she will die. Of course, quoting his words from Journey's End.
Because if she remembers, just for a second, she'll burn up. You can never tell her. You can't mention me or any of it for the rest of her life.
And maybe he could be explaining this to Rose, as where he is looking, there's a pale light blue blur in the corner where he's looking, and that is the colour of Rose's denim jacket that she is wearing basically all throughout the trailer. So he could be explaining this to Rose, as basically Rose would be the only person to not know, not trigger the Doctor around Donna, not talk about these weird occurrences around Donna. I mean, there could be Sean, of course, Donna's husband as well, but Rose seems like a much more likely candidate. And just some little fun reference, here he is wearing brainy specs, and of course every Doctor has some brainy specs. Of course 10, 11 and even 12 were kind of the ones that wore the brainy specs more, and they are back for 14th Doctor's era. However, they are not 10's brainy specs, they are a different one, and they look a bit more like 11's brainy specs than 10's, but just something cool there. And then we get a scene of Donna panicking that we saw in the last trailer, probably when she's remembering all the stuff, all her travels with the 10th Doctor, all the aliens she saw. And behind her, there seems to be two people that I didn't spot in the last trailer, but I did in this one. And it seems to be, I can't make them out 100% because they're a bit blurry, but they seem to be Sean Temple Noble, her husband, and with him, it also seems to be Donna. So again, even more confirmation that she is Donna's daughter. And then we get a couple of unit action scenes, and these are just so cool. There looks to be a taxi also in one of these action scenes, and in the leaked set footage, it showed the Noble family and the Doctor getting into a taxi with Beep the Meep. So again, this is probably, well, the Doctor and Rose and the whole Temple Noble family coming together to save Beep from the Wrath Warriors. And then we get a shot of the Doctor and Donna, probably in a spaceship that we saw in the last trailer. I couldn't make out the triangle symbol, so I don't think we've ever seen this alien before in Doctor Who, and it would make sense if that was Beep the Meep or the Wrath Warriors spaceship, as they haven't appeared in live action on the Doctor Who television show before, so it would make sense if it was one of their spaceship. It might be a bit small for Beep the Meep, but again, the TARDIS is a lot bigger on the inside than the outside, so Beep could have similar technology, but it could be the Wrath Warrior spaceship just as much as it could be Beep's. And we get another shot from the previous trailer of the car flipping and landing on the unit truck. Of course, probably again the Wrath Warriors fighting unit, as there is a lot of this in the trailer. And then we come to a bit more of a light-hearted comedy bit. We see Donna calling the Doctor Skinny Man, of course in a similar way to how she called the Doctor Spaceman. Of course, she did it in The Runaway Bride and all of Series 4.
He is too skinny for words. You give him a hug, you get a paper cut.
Wow, don't just stand there, you skinny boys in suits. Get to work!
And of course, she can't call the Doctor Spaceman now because she doesn't know he is a spaceman. However, we do know that just seeing the Doctor doesn't trigger her memory, because we saw that, of course, in Journey's End, where she saw John Smith, of course, the 10th Doctor, and she wasn't triggered to, remember all her time with the Doctor. And in this series, seeing him there doesn't trigger her memories. However, Sylvia does try to shield him from her view, better be safe than sorry. However, he does go to duck under Sylvia's arm, heading in the direction of Donna. Why would he do that? Because, again, I think he would better be safe than sorry. He wouldn't want to see Donna die. He wouldn't want to potentially put her in jeopardy. But you can just see him, just before it cuts off, ducking under Sylvia's arm, heading in her direction. Why would he be doing that? But let's move in to the next part of the trailer. So, the Wrath Warriors again attack Unit, and from an aerial shot, we can see that this wasn't kind on Unit. We can see at least 4 Unit officers dead, just lying in the road, and that is kind of bone-chilling and blood-curdling. The Wrath Warriors don't care, they just need to get to Beep. So maybe they won't be, it won't be as much of a patch-up like that the 4th Doctor really appreciated the Wrath Warriors and was sorry for, of course, stopping them from capturing Beep. But maybe the Doctor will also tell the Wrath Warriors to run too, just like the 11th Doctor did in the 11th hour, telling the Atraxi to run, even though Prisoner Zero was the main villain of that story and the Atraxi were after him too. However, they were willing to destroy the Earth. And then we see the Doctor and Donna together, running into this stone building, possibly a museum. As we know, a museum is the place where the Doctor goes to keep score, as we saw back in Flesh and Stone. And then we see a big action scene again of Sylvia, Sean and Rose seeming to be surrounded by fire. And I don't know, will this be the time when Donna remembers? I mean, who will save them? Will the Doctor come in at the last minute? Is this caused by Beep the Meep? We've also seen shots of Ruth Madeley's character in a similar place, just from promo footage. We didn't actually see her surrounded by fire in this trailer, but she seems to be in the same place in the promotional poster footage. And then the moment that a lot of people have waited for, we hear an Alan Z from the 14th Doctor, which of course was the 10th Doctor's catchphrase. And it's just lovely to hear him say it. So again, of course, the 14th Doctor will have a lot more similarities to the 10th Doctor than any other Doctors have had. And then we see this shot of Neil Patrick Harris, and he has a different costume on. This costume looks more like a Valentine's Day Casanova costume. If you don't know who Casanova is, he was a famous lover, and I don't know, this costume from Neil Patrick Harris gives me Casanova lover type vibes. And he is lying on top of some rose petals and throwing them up, of course referencing Rose, but I don't know why, and it seems very out of context in everything else. Maybe this is a dream sequence from him, or the Doctor, or Donna, or Rose, but it just seems out of place in the other parts of the trailer that we've seen him in. And through this costume, I have seen a connection to another previous villain, this time in a spin-off of Doctor Who, the Sarah Jane Adventures. The three costumes reference I think Odd Bob the Clown, which he had three different costumes. He had the clown costume, of course the performer, like Neil Patrick Harris's top hat costume. He also had the magician costume, of course Neil Patrick Harris's like waistcoat bow tie costume. And he had the Pied Piper costume, which is like Neil Patrick Harris's Casanova type costume, and I just think that's a really cool reference there if that is. And also of course Bradley Walsh played Odd Bob the Clown, and then he later on went to play of course Graham O'Brien, one of the 13th Doctor's companions. And then we see Ruth Madeley, and she is confirmed to be playing a character called Shirley Ann Bingham. I looked that up. I don't think this character has ever had anything in Doctor Who before, even in expanded media. And this is not her character from Big Finish. Her name was Hibibi Harrison. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. And they're not the same character. Hibibi Harrison travelled with the 6th Doctor and Mal Bush and was like kind of a second companion. But this is a completely different character. And her character was rumoured to be a unit scientist. However, she seems like quite a high-ranking officer, as she is wearing a business suit top. And I did notice it was pinstripe, like many of the 10th Doctor's suits. So this could be a reference to the 10th Doctor and possibly Osgood, who wore various Doctor Who clothes, as of course she was a big Doctor Who fan. Maybe Shirley Ann Bingham is a big fan of the 10th Doctor. And then there's a shot of Donna by some stairs. This is probably when she's regained her memories and she's just gone to unit with the Doctor. However, maybe her and the Doctor are at the Shadow Proclamation, just as she was on the stairs a lot of the time in Stolen Earth when her and the 10th Doctor visited the Shadow Proclamation, but maybe I'm just looking too much into it. And then we get the 14th Doctor getting up and running away from something. So maybe the Wrath Warriors have found them, protecting Beep the Meep, as there is a taxi in the background of that shot. And maybe he has, I don't know, tried to persuade them that this isn't the way and he's got knocked down. But then now he's getting back up and he realises he just has to run. And then we get the final shot of the trailer, of course, Ncuti Gatwa.
Someone tell me what the hell is going on here?
So, of course, we saw this scene in the last trailer, and Ncuti is wearing the shirt and untied tie of the 14th Doctor's costume. And Russell T Davies did confirm that the background isn't the background we'll see in the 60th anniversary special where Ncuti appears. So maybe Ncuti is with the Guardians of the Edge that we saw in The Power of the Doctor, and the Guardians, of course being the past Doctors, are explaining to him what the hell is going on. But maybe it's something completely different. But again, they said the background would give too much away, and I can't help thinking it could be a past Doctor. Maybe the 11th, maybe the 12th, maybe the 13th, maybe even the 9th. But I just think this trailer was insane. And let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Did you like this trailer? What would you have liked to see in this trailer? And also, if you like this video, don't forget to leave a like. Also subscribe and share it out. And I will see you in the next one.